Well, if you live in the Hamilton area, you are probably familiar with the big red school buses that weave through the city each Saturday morning, picking up kids living in low-income areas. And for a couple of hours each week, get whisked away to a wonderful place called City Kidz, where they get to hear about the love of Jesus from caring and loving volunteers. Todd Bender is the founder of City Kidz and joins me today to talk about an annual event City Kidz puts on for their kids that attend the program each week.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we call it the gift of Christmas,
yes.
but yeah, it really is the most exciting time of the year for us.
Yeah.
You know, all year long, I think City Kidz is known for being a community of hope, a people of faith, and servants of love. And it's really, at Christmas time, it really culminates to this gigantic expression of the love we have for our kids and families.
So tell us about all these kids that come. How many kids come usually each week?
Well, we have approximately on a weekly basis, there's nearly 2,000 kids in Hamilton. Wow. Plus, there's a branch in Regina and Ottawa too. And so every week, over 2,000 kids that are receiving personal home visits and jumping on a big red bus and coming to experience all that City Kidz has to offer.
And so your Christmas event, we have all these gifts around. We're going to tell you a little bit more about them. You're probably sensing that something's going on. But tell us a little bit more about what happens during your Christmas event.
Sure. So one of the things we do at the Gift of Christmas is that all of the children that have been participating at City Kidz, plus other kids too, and their siblings as well, who maybe are too young to come out, we give them wish lists prior to Christmas. So about 6 to 8 weeks leading up to Christmas, they'll get a wish list. You know, when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have all those things. We used to circle our Sears catalog. And
I used to do the same thing, yes!
Yeah, or the consumers distributing.
Yes, and you'd hope that your mom would see it.
It was such an awesome experience. So what we try to do is create that experience. So kids will get a wish list and they'll be able to circle the things that they would like for Christmas. And so what we end up doing then, those wish lists come back in and all of our team members and volunteers, we begin to gather the toys. We seek out to the community responds. All the toys come into this gigantic toy store.
Wow.
And then all the volunteers and staff who visit the kids and the families throughout the year, they will be able to come into the toy store, take a look at those wish lists, and they go and select the gifts.
Oh my goodness.
They get hand wrapped.
Wow.
The names of the children go on them. And then just days before Christmas, our big red buses roll into the community. And all these people who've been building relationships with them all through the year, who love the families, they're able to go and hand those gifts. And I got to tell you, it's absolutely an amazing experience. The gift of Christmas is really the gift we get back from the giving of the gift, not just the receiving of it.
You know, Todd, I've talked to you so much over the years. Oh, there's some footage there of the kids getting there. Look at that white girl. She's just like so excited. She's like pulling her hair. She's so excited. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I've talked to you a number of times about City Kidz, and you are so passionate about what you guys do. You've made an effort to still do home visits and get out there and still be connected with the community. Tell us how City Kidz started.
Well, that goes back over a couple decades. It started actually with one child, and I think that's true for most people's stories. When you have this experience that just it sets off an epiphany, and it really sets the course of your life. And I think that's what happened to me. I was in Bible college at the time. I was studying to be a minister, and I was really trying to seek out what God's plan was for my life. And you know, I always had a soft spot, loved kids. Was always involved with kids ministry at some point. But I met this little boy named Sean, and he came from a very difficult home life. And I spent some time with him while I was in college, amongst other kids as well too, but it was this little boy specifically who, as I got to know him over those 4 months that I was there, I realized one evening when I was walking him home, it was late, you know, we had just finished playing basketball at the college, and I was actually pretty self-absorbed. I was feeling pretty sorry for myself. I wasn't doing great in school.
Yeah.
So my academics weren't great. I was basically there to try to find out what my purpose was. And so I'm crying out to God, saying, God, what do you want with my life? I've given you my life freely. I don't know what it is that you're asking of me. I don't know what it is that you want me to do. And at that moment, this little boy, Sean, came back, reached up and grabbed my hand. And it was instantly from that moment, Maggie, that I knew that my life was going to be about loving kids like Sean. Because what I realized is that Sean didn't need all my theology, all the indoctrination, all those types of things. He needed love. He needed to know that someone loved him and that God loved him. And so that became the beginning, the catalyst to what's become City Kidz. And now, thousands and thousands of kids And many, many people, I'm just one person of many people who go out and just love children and families and share God's love with them through the community.
But how did that go from one child? Because I think all of us can be impacted by somebody and think, okay, I get to pour into that one person. But how did God give you that vision that, wait a minute, there is a whole community out there of Seans, of kids like Sean that I need to reach out to?
Well, you know, I think I really wasn't aware of how great the needs were in our country, and certainly in the community of Hamilton where City Kids began. And the interesting thing was, I always talk about people that when I say I search for Seans, right? My whole life has been about searching for that next boy or girl that just needs to know someone loves them. And I was just amazed that as I searched for that next one, there was another and another and another. And we began to realize that there is a great need in our country when it comes to families that are struggling, families that are dealing with such really tremendous adversity. And sometimes somebody from the outside who's willing, who doesn't have to, who's not required to, who comes and knocks on someone's door and says, you know what, we're just here because we love you. We love your kids, we love your family. We're not even coming, with any answers to solve all your problems, but we know God loves you, and God has the answers, and we're not gonna leave you. And I think that's the great thing about City Kids. We visit kids as young as 3, and we journey with them. And so we have kids now after 23 years of doing this. We've got kids, in fact,
You've seen grow up.
Oh, it's amazing.
Wow.
And grow up and to achieve God's purpose for their lives. And to think that we had a small part even to play in that. And a lot of times all it had to do was show up and be an expression of God's love into their lives. And I think that's, if there's anything that we do well at City Kids, it's the fact that we love so deeply our kids and families. And we just want to express that. And so as God brings us kids, we just keep loving them.
So you say when God brings you kids, how does a kid get involved with City Kids? How does that start?
Well, when people ask me what is City Kids, I usually describe it as like one part Walt Disney, one part Mother Teresa, right?
You've said that before,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a great way to describe it because, we all our children get bussed into a Saturday program where it's a Disney-style program where we have it's really meant to, here's what I say, it's when kids walk through the doors of City Kids, I want it to be to the closest that they can get to the kingdom of God this side, right? So they're safe, they're at peace, they're having fun. They're being exactly what God intended children to experience, right? Innocence, beauty. We sing songs, we play games, we compete, we win prizes, all those types of things. And then we bus them back home afterwards. When we first started, it was really knocking on doors and just handing out flyers and saying, hey, if you want to come, we've got a great program. And kids started to come, parents started to trust us. Now, after 20 years of doing it, we have this trust built with families. Actually, there's waiting lists in every community that we have.
Really?
Because we can't actually provide everything we need for all the kids that want to come out. So in Ottawa and Regina, there's waiting lists because every child is known by name. So of those 2,000 kids, they're not faceless kids sitting. They're kids that we visit. They're kids that we know their name, we know their circumstance, we know their families. And that's the commitment that we've made to it.
And that's what I love about what you guys do. You have invested in these children. It's not just a program that they get bused to and get. You have invested in that child. You've invested in that family. You make sure that you have a connection with the parents so that they feel safe sending their child on that bus. Tell us about that, about the connection you make with the parents as well. Because, I was reading recently in Campaign 2000 released their study, said 1 in 5 children in our nation are living in poverty.
Yes, yeah.
That's a scary statistic. So when we look at that child, we know that that child is coming from a family that's living in poverty as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've learned a lot about poverty over the last 2 decades. And, when I was a young, 20 years old, you're very idealistic. You think you have all the answers. And then I started meeting these families, and I started hearing their stories, and I realized that this could just as easily have been me. And so what we began to realize is that the parents, the single moms, the single dads, they all have their stories, they all have their challenges, and they all love their kids deeply and are trying the best they can to make ends meet. And so, I think for us what we've learned is that if you really want to make an impact, people, it's the old saying, right? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
People are amazed when they see so we have 300 to 400 preschoolers who get on our buses.
Are you serious?
Some with little backpacks, barely toilet trained,
Oh.
and they come on, and parents send them with us. And people say, how are parents? Because the parents are sending them with people that they know and love them.
And they trust.
They trust, right? And I would say that trust we carry very close to our heart. It's a relationship. We care about their families. We care about their kids. And you have to earn that trust. And we often say that if you want to have influence, you've got to earn it, right? So we think that, by going week after week, visiting kids in their homes, it builds that trust. Trust turns into credibility. And then credibility turns into influence. At the end of the day, our influence is because we love the families and we love our kids, and we truly believe that even in spite of their circumstances, every single child has the potential to achieve greatness, that God has built that into them. Doesn't matter where they grow up, doesn't matter what's happening, doesn't matter what's happening around them, that God can redeem all things. And so that's been our, we don't have a lot of complicated things to City Kids.
Yeah.
We are truly these types of people that believe that love can change the world and God's love can transform hearts. And we've held to that simple truth. We role model it out every day, and we see God bring, the response, and lives changed.
And the word that I hear in everything that you're saying, Todd, is we. It's not the Todd Bender
Oh,
show.
no.
You have a
Fortunately,
huge
no.
volunteer base. And before we get to all this around us, tell us about how crucial it is to have that army of volunteers around you.
Yeah, I was reading this morning in the Hamilton Spectator too, just the amount of volunteer hours that go into, especially in Canada. We often hear stateside the amount of volunteers that it takes. It's a huge amount of volunteers that take. In fact, we have over 400 volunteers that every week are coming down through, whether it's running our normal programs on the front lines, who are visiting the kids in their homes. Nearly 15 hours a week, somebody will volunteer to take their roster, go and visit their kids. And we don't have to tell, when they start doing it, they're the ones, they just fall in love, and the kids fall in love with them as well too. It's true that City Kids, and I think not just City Kids, but so many agencies and organizations wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the altruism and the beautiful gift of time that so many people give.
Yeah. Well, we absolutely love you and love City Kids and everything that you guys stand for. So all of those toys back there are going to you guys.
Oh, goodness, I'm glad I brought a van.
I hope we warned you ahead of time. So yeah, we have even more toys. All of our employees here at Crossroads decided that we wanted to collect for City Kids this year and to contribute to the Christmas program, as well as this beautiful basket. So during David Mains's 80th birthday celebration, which you were here for, we said that we wanted to commit to giving God Rocks material and really investing into the next generation, right? So we have 500 God Rocks CDs here that will bless many kids, and again, continue that hearing about God even in their homes. And so yeah, we just hope that this blesses you this year.
And we're so excited. I can't wait to give these out to our kids.
I'm just excited that I got to do this. I got to play Santa today. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Todd, for all that you do.